Welcome to the next example in the series of exchange sacrifices. Again, to deepen the understanding and really make you an expert in this area of the game, I want to give this one to you as an exercise. And the question is, should black sacrifice the exchange? If so, what's your move? And the second option is, of course, keep the exchange by playing rook to e8. So that's the question, what's better? Do you think it's justified? Does it make any sense to sacrifice the exchange? Or is it just better to keep the rook? Take your time and we will continue with the solution. This is actually a game played by one of my students and this is just a sideline of the game, but this could have happened and I found it very interesting to see this moment, and in fact it is better to sacrifice the exchange than to keep it. Why is that? If we keep the rook, really our main problem is the dark squares here. Our king is in constant danger, and after queen e5 there are some tactical ideas. If we don't hit the queen quickly, there might be some mating patterns. Also there might be some ideas like, I don't know, bishop f8 at sometimes. There might also be ideas that there is bishop f6 and we just let the queen in. I mean, it depends a bit, but you really need to take some care. And the problem here is that black is not able to play f6 anymore because the rook is not on f8. So we don't really get rid of this bishop. We might try to trade the queens or to kick the white queen out, but after, for example, queen to d6, things are tricky. For example, queen e7, queen c7, it's annoying. Of course, black is also better here. We are a pawn up, no concrete issues, but things are not that simple. For example, knight c5, white could also go back, maybe even to f4. And there is this constant counterplay, this constant danger on the dark squares. And we would need to watch out way more than if we just sacrifice the exchange. And this is actually a good example of sacrificing the exchange, in a sense that it's good because the rooks are just so bad. So I call this the bad rooks exchange sacrifice. So how to sacrifice the exchange? There are many ways, of course, but I actually really like rook a8, bringing this rook from a7 back into the game because there's just nothing to do anymore on a7. The rook was probably earlier protecting the b7 pawn, but this is no longer a task you need to do, and we just improve the position by a bit. This double exclamation mark is, of course, for the decision to sacrifice the exchange. And the key difference can be seen, for example, in the line queen e5 now, as we are ready to play f6, as we have still this control with the rook here. And in fact, white can achieve nothing here. And in this particular situation, he would probably not even win the exchange any longer. Play rook f7. And we're safe. We kept the black queen out. We can consolidate the position and later play for probably f5 and e4. White has no counterplay whatsoever. The question is just how we make the progress later. We might still sacrifice the exchange at an opportune moment, but maybe it's not even necessary here. So let's have a look at what happens in the supposed to be critical line if white takes the exchange. But the key question again to ask is, how good are the rooks? And the rooks are basically as stupid as they could be, because there is no open file and there won't be any open file because white has just no pawn breaks, everything is locked. The h file is already closed, the e file will never open up. I mean, white could try, but this compromises his king, and even then I think it's not gonna happen. Also, h6 is under attack right now, so white needs first to leave the e file, but after that black is in great shape, no danger of being checkmated here any longer. After queen d6 we dominate and the white queen is never getting in. Meanwhile we will play f6, e5, rook e8, and at some stage we might be able to push f5 and e4, really supporting this pawn break, getting a huge center supported by the knights, and the rook are just passive. White is just tied down, needs to wait all game long, and yeah, there is just no more comfortable situation, and in fact black with this extra pawn can be even pushing for a win. Let's have a look what happens if, for example, we would let the white queen in a bit. Even that would be no problem, as even the endgame is very, very comfortable for us. For example, here in the endgame, black is also in the driver's seat, while white will never be able to open any file. We will improve the king, I guess, to stabilize here, and then later try to open files on our own, or maybe just maneuver the knights around to some great spots and attack some targets here on d3, for example. But black has all the decisions in his hands. There is no need to open any files in a rushed way or premature way so that the rooks get counterplay. Black is in control. Black will decide when it might be worth it to open the position at the sake of playing for a win. But yeah, white can never open the position for the sake of counterplay. So he's actually really tied down here with his rooks, and black has a winning position. So keep this in mind. Sometimes when you're in danger and you're already a pawn up, it is wise to sacrifice an exchange because it will kill all the counterplay after this trade. We stabilize down on the dark squares, we will never be checkmated again. And still, with our excellent knights and the passive rooks, we're still pushing for the win with zero risk. So that's it for this one. Keep it in mind. Passive rooks indicate an exchange sacrifice might be a good idea. Also, avoiding all kind of counterplay from our opponent can be a motivation to think about an exchange sacrifice, as the counterplay is often based on some weak squares, which are maintained by this gray bishop on g7. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it, could get something out of it. If so, please like and subscribe, comment on the video. It really helps the channel grow, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.